Now, before we get started, let's revert this 10 back to this .state .page size. So here in the movies component, currently we're handling the onPage change event of the pagination component. Here in this event handler, we're simply logging the current page on the console, but nowhere in the pagination component we are raising this event. So back in the pagination component, here we have an anchor. Whenever the user clicks on this anchor, we should raise the onPage change event. So onClick would set this to a function, an arrow function, and in the body we call props.onPage change and pass the current page as an argument. That is this page that we have in our map method. Let's test the application. So here I've got the console open on the right side. As we click on different pages, you can see the current page is displayed on the console. Beautiful. Now back in the pagination component, earlier we used object destructuring, so it's better to use the same approach here, so our code will be clean and consistent. Let's remove props dot and extract onPage change from the props object on the top. That's better. Now as we click on different pages, we want to highlight the current page. To achieve this, we need to apply the active class on this list item conditionally. So if this page that we're rendering equals the current page, we want to add the active class. That means in this component, we need to know the current page. So we should extend the interface of this component and also give it the current page. And this makes perfect sense because sometimes the user may select a given page, navigate away, and then come back. So we want to initialize this pagination component to a different page, not page 1. So here in the props, we should also have current page. And that means we need to go back to our movies component and pass the current page as a prop. So current page, we set this to this .state .current page. So as you can see in the state of this movies component, we're keeping track of parameters like page size, current page, potentially current filter, current sort column, and so on. So let's go on the top and initialize the current page. Here in the state, I'm going to set current page to 1. Now, back in our render method, we can use object destructuring to clean up our code. So constant page size and current page, we're going to extract these from this .state. Now, back here, we can get rid of this .expressions. Save the changes. Beautiful. All right, next we need to go to our event handler, and whenever the page is changed, we need to update the state. So let me give you a shortcut. On Mac, you can press Command and P. On Windows, Control P. Here, if you type an @ you can look at the members of this class. We want to jump to handle page change. Here we are. So we get the new page and we call this .setState. We set the current page property to this page. Now to make sure that all this plumbing is working, I'm going to go back to pagination component. On the top, let's do a console.log of current page. I want to make sure that this pagination component is receiving the current page. So initially, current page is 1, beautiful. Now let's go to page 2, we get that here, page 3, perfect. So just to clarify, whenever we click on a new page, this event is raised. So we go back to our movies component. Here we handle that event, we update the state. As you learned before, whenever the state of a component is changed, that component and all its children are re-rendered. So the render method is called. Now down the bottom of this method here, we have the pagination component. So the pagination component is re-rendered with new props. So it will receive the new page. All right, the last step for this lecture is to apply the active class to the current page dynamically. So here in the pagination component, I'm going to change this line where we have this list item. Instead of hard coding the page item class, I'm going to pass an expression here. So if this page that we are rendering equals current page, we're going to return page-item plus the active class. Otherwise, we'll only return page-item. As simple as that. Let's save the changes and test the application. So initially, you can see the first page is selected. Let's go to page 2, page 3, page 1. Beautiful. Next, we'll implement the pagination.